Oh boy, here we go again. The Nike Pegasus 41 is in for testing, and today I'm going to be giving you my first impressions. Well, actually, I'm going to correct myself there. This is a first run video, not a first impressions, because I have only done one run in the shoe, and I think that's all I'm going to get done in this shoe. So with all first impressions and first run videos, I like to go through how I tested them, give you a technical overview, and then give you my first impressions on the shoe or my thoughts after one run, which I'm going to share in full with you shortly. Quick disclaimer, this is a pair of shoes that I purchased with my own money. No one has sent me these shoes. So with that out of the way, let's dive in. So how did I test it? Well, I took it for a nice mixed terrain, 15-minute easy run with some strides thrown on the end. My usual loop, and it was a day before a workout, so the strides were there to prime my legs ready for the workout. So I got some nice easy miles in it and then threw some strides on at the end just to see, well, as I said, get the legs primed, but just to see how the shoe was when I picked up the pace. Sometimes in daily trainers with big stack shoes and mushy midsoles, strides aren't the best to do in them. You sink into them, it's hard to get a fast turnover. This thing did all right, to be fair, on the strides. It was very uninspiring on the easy run, but when it came to picking up the pace, it did an okay job. I felt like I could turn the legs over quite well, which was decent, but other than that, yeah, just got a 50-minute easy run done. So let's go through a quick technical overview of this shoe before getting into my first impressions. So I went true to size in this shoe, which is a UK size 13. There is no 13.5, and I think if there was an option, I'm going to be honest, I would have gone for it. My toe was quite tight in the toe box, to be brutally honest with you. It was almost touching the end. I've never had that in a Nike shoe. I don't know if it's the Pegasus in general. I don't ever remember having that issue in the 37. Whether they've squeezed a shoe down a bit, no idea. But the option isn't there for me to half size up, so I can't. So I've stuck with true to size. In terms of stack height, again, Nike haven't released anything official. From what I'm seeing from other people, we're talking about a 37-27 drop, 10mm heel to toe drop, 37 a stack in the heel, 27 forefoot. However, I would argue that this does not feel at all or even look like 27mm in the forefoot. I have no idea. I would have said that's more mid to low 20s, and it definitely doesn't feel like 27 in the forefoot when you're running in it. But there we go. There's multiple sources reporting that, so that's all I can go by. And in my UK size 13, it comes in at 360 grams or 12.7 ounces. And just for very quick reference, I'll throw on screen where that drops the shoe in terms of weight around other daily trainers, just so that you guys can get an idea, because I know when I talk about UK size 13 weights, it doesn't mean a lot to you guys, but hopefully by pitching it in there with the other shoes around it, you can see where it falls. And as always, we'll start at the back of the shoe, talk about the heel counter, ankle collar, tongue, lacing, upper, midsole, and finish with the outsole. So we have a breathable engineer mesh upper which runs all the way around the shoe, and starting at the back here we have quite a stout heel counter, some flexion on the top of the cushioning, but that's naturally because we have a heel cup that runs around there. If you trace my finger and down there, you can feel it through. It's not as rigid as some, but there's a bit more material there just to give it a bit more sturdiness, and overall it does a good job. And I like this section of the shoe. I like the comfort that the Peg offers from the upper. Very, very nice indeed. Good cushioning around here. I like the way the heel flares away, easy to get the shoe off and on, and very comfortable in general. And that rolls through to the tongue as well, quite a plush tongue, so that's nice and padded. That coupled with the low cut under the ankle bone gives it a very sort of casual trainer feel, but very comfortable at the same time as well. I like it when I slip my foot in this one. It does give good comfort vibes. A gusseted tongue, so I just said the tongue is quite plush. The gusset starts a little bit further down the shoe, about halfway down around about here, but it does hold the tongue in nicely, and it does wrap over the top of the foot as well. And quite a wide base here for the lacing, as you can see. The lacing does not pull up close. The lacing system doesn't sort of almost touch each other. On some shoes, it can wrap right across the top of the foot. This doesn't. It's quite wide, and you're using these fabric loops here, which are very sturdy indeed. They're really weaved into the fabric, very strong. You can really get a good lockdown here, but I don't know. You're not going to be able to see it on camera, but I don't know if you can look sort of through there. There's some good thick material holding all of that in together. So that's really good, really comfy. That does roll through to here as well. I know I mentioned sizing. My toe is very close to the end, and it is a shame that you can't half size up in them, but overall I think the upper in general is pretty decent. It does have very casual trainer vibes about it, but overall I like the way that it hugs the foot. It is a shallow toe box, nothing new there for me from the 37, so everything over there is really good, and as I said, a bit thicker material here and here, but overall this front section is very breathable. You can see right through it, and yeah, so far so good. But this for me is where it goes downhill rapidly. We've got React X midsole, which apparently is 13% more responsive than the original React foam, and there are some air units I should say in the forefoot and the heel, and my honest note, I'll save my opinion shortly, that runs full length of the shoe from front to back, so air units in the forefoot and the heel, and full React X midsole going front to back. No plate in this one at all, very, very flexible indeed. And then we've got their traditional waffle style outsole, which runs all the way through the shoe. Now, I'm going to be honest with you, this tread pattern hasn't changed since the 37, or if it has, it's been very minor, but you do get good grip in the peg, and obviously what you expect with this shoe is good durability, and I still feel like you're going to get that with the Pegasus. This rubber lasted a long time in my old version of the shoe, and I'm sure it will do the same on this one. And then, as I said, you've got some exposed midsole here on the base, but most of it is covered, so you're going to get good durability out of this shoe. And that is it for the tech. So with all that out of the way, how did I find this shoe? Well, I've got two voices in my head, one trying to be constructive and the other one me wanting to tell you that I found it a bit of a bag of to be honest with you, but I'm not going to do that, because the reality is I have a bit of a gripe with Nike when it comes to their daily trainers. They just produce some of the best, really some of the best racing shoes out there, but when it comes to their daily trainers, I just feel that they're not being innovative at all in the slightest, and it really doesn't feel that much different from the 37. I get very strong feelings from this, as I did 4 years ago when I was using that shoe, in the fact that I just felt completely underwhelmed by that shoe. And the shoe is not let down by the upper section of the shoe. I do find it really comfortable, and it looks a really good trainer. It looks a really good casual shoe, to be honest with you as well. I understand why it's such a good casual walking shoe, and for anyone asked about walking, yeah, I can imagine it would be an extremely comfortable shoe. But it's just this midsole. It always comes down for me to the React midsole. Now I know this is React X, so we've upgraded since I last tested it. I haven't tested any shoes with React X in it since they introduced it, and it's is it 13% more, 13% better than the previous version of React? But honestly, I just find the construction of the midsole, it is probably one of the most dullest midsoles out there. What I find is I don't get any sort of responsiveness from the shoe whatsoever. I don't get any sort of feedback when I roll through the gait cycle. It doesn't push me off. It doesn't kind of give me any pop. It doesn't do anything at all. And a lot of daily trainers foams do. So it is disappointing when you run in something that feels as flat as this. And I've run in 10mm shoes, two 10mm shoes this year so far. The Brooks Ghost 16, and for the life of me, I can't remember the Triumph 22. Now the Triumph 22, I'm absolutely loving. I'm putting so many miles in it, and the Brooks Ghost 16 was a massive upgrade. Both of those shoes way better than this one. You know, the Brooks Ghost 16, I didn't hate, that's a strong word. I disliked the Brooks Ghost 15 quite a bit. It didn't work for me, the midsole felt dead. The new DNA Loft version 3, it's got a bit of something to it. It's got a bit of life to it. It works well, and I could move quickly in it. It was really, really good. And they've made good steps in the right direction to bringing that shoe into the 21st century. And I just feel like Nike are not doing that with this one. There's a lot of ground contact feel in this shoe. I really don't know where people are getting the 27mm from. It's obviously from somewhere, whether it's a tech sheet that's been passed around by Nike reps or what, but it really doesn't feel like that at all. And so because of the lack of foam in the forefoot, that is one reason you don't get a lot of pop off, but also the air unit, people are saying it's cushion, people are saying it's quite comfy. I just disagree, to be completely honest with you. It just feels flat and dead. And this big wedge in the heel here is really noticeable. When you're walking to go and start the run, and even when you're running, you really do notice this lump under the heel. It is really exaggerated to the point where I would genuinely say it feels more like a 12 or a 14mm drop than a 10. I just don't notice the heel wedge in the Saucony Triumph 22 or the Brooks Ghost 16. I don't notice that 10mm drop because they're just such smooth shoes. This is not a smooth shoe in the slightest. So hopefully that makes sense as to why I feel disappointed in the shoe and why I said it was a bag of shit. But that's my kind of personal gripe coming out, and I'm trying, as I said, I'm trying to be objective. I'm just really disappointed that in 4 years, things really haven't progressed that much. Now, I know they're putting a lot of innovation and time into the Alpha Fly, into the next percent, and I know that their focus probably for runners now is more on the Invincible model, and is it the free run, or there's another one, Infinity, I can't remember what the other one is, but there's another shoe out there that's a bit more big stack. I just feel like this one is such, as I said, it looks a really good shoe. It very much is that blend between a lifestyle and a running shoe, and for me now, I've got to say, I can't see myself trying another Pegasus shoe until I see drastic changes, and I just don't think there's going to be many. I think this line is very much to bridge that gap between casual use and running. And for me, if you, my genuine opinion is, if you're a serious runner logging 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 miles a week, then this just I can't see it working. So the only thing I'll say is take this review with a pinch of salt, because I am 6'6", I am nearly 90 kilos. So what force I'm going to be putting in this through this shoe is going to be way more than what a lot of you guys are as well. I know not many of you out there are 6'6". So if you are a runner that's like 5'5" to 5'8" and more around 60 to 70 kilos, I do feel like you're going to get a different experience in this shoe. I'm not saying it's going to be a great experience, but I think because I'm already putting a lot of weight through what I feel is a crap midsole anyway, I'm just not going to get anything back at all. I think if you're not putting quite as much force in it, the air units may work a little bit better for you, but just don't hold your breath. And as I just said, I'm going to be completely honest with you, I don't feel this is a shoe for a serious runner. Someone that, as I said, that's running 20 plus miles a week and you're logging a lot of miles, yes, you're going to get durability from the shoe, but I really do feel like this is a casual shoe. And until, as I said, it changes, I'm not going to be interested in trying a peg again. So we'll leave that there, and I'm going to check out, as soon as I've recorded this video, I'm going to be checking out Nike's return policy. I know it's changed. I don't know what the rules are. If I can return them, I will. There are other shoes out there. The Adidas SL2 looks like a good one to try. So if I can get my money back, I will, because if I end up having to keep it, then it will be used for casual use only and nothing more. So there we go. That's my thoughts on the Pegasus 41, the first shoe this year I've tried that I've really not liked, and I probably jinxed it, because in a recent video where I talked about my top 5 daily trainers, I said in that video, there's not been a shoe this year I've tried that I haven't enjoyed. Every single shoe has been enjoyable. Well, the Pegasus has just changed that for me then. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this shoe, because of course it has been out now for a couple of weeks. Have you picked it up? What do you think? Do you think I'm being too harsh, or do you agree? I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. That's it from me today, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please do consider giving it a like, share it with your friends, and of course subscribe to the channel for weekly running content, and I'll see you on the next one.